local history, local culture, local events, your community. This is the Joe Kelly Show.
And welcome to the show, everybody. Thanks for joining us. The mayor of Utica is our guest, Rob Tellman. He was elected, if I recall my history correctly, in 2011, started serving as mayor in 2012, and he joins us today. And he's on one side of the studio, I'm on the other side of the studio. A
little bit different, Joe.
A little bit different. You want to turn and look, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Welcome, anyway. Good
Thank
to
you.
see you,
Thank
Mayor.
you.
Thanks for coming in. The COVID-19, it's changed everybody's life, and as you were saying before the show, I think you're so right about this. This is going to be something that we'll look back on at this history-making time. What has it meant to the city of Utica? Financially, it's got to have been a real tough time.
It really is, and it has affected everybody. It's not just the city of Utica. It's people who have lost their jobs. It's the revenue. Our sales tax is down roughly 37%. We had to come up with a financial restructuring plan that we put in place to withstand the next wave, and that's not the wave of the coronavirus, that's the wave of not knowing how much revenue will be coming in at this time. So we have not laid off anybody. We had an incentive out there to some of the employees that have been there for a number of years, and those employees that are retiring, some of the people that may have lost their jobs, they are being in the positions where they'll be filling those spots, but we won't be filling the spots that they are leaving at this time. So we're no overtime. Our part-time help is no longer. People may see a little difference as far as the grass goes, but Dave Short, Fred Spare do an absolutely outstanding job. We're going to try to deliver the best product we can to the residents with understanding that our revenue is down, and the last thing we want to do is obviously when we get into our next fiscal year, which will start in April of the following year in 2021 when we do the budget, that we could continue to keep our taxes as low as possible, deliver a great product under a pandemic that no one knew and no one saw this coming. So it's a challenging time for all of us, and again, we are going to deliver a great product for our residents. And again, the residents have been outstanding during this time period. One of the reasons why we're able to go to a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and we're looking at our phase 4 is the compliance of our residents. They have done an outstanding job. So my hat goes off to the great people of Utica, New York.
How short is the city going to be revenue-wise?
Well, each month we're monitoring our sales tax, and we're hoping that now that we're opening, we're looking at roughly about a $2.5 to $3 million gap that will be in there. And there's no overtime. We've cut that back. No new hirings at all. Some vacant positions will stay continually vacant, and we're trying to bridge that gap. So we'll withstand this first level of the roughly a $3 million gap.
I know
the city of Utica has.
The Boilermaker brings in a lot of money in so many different ways that people don't even think about. Taxes and people filling up their gas tanks and people coming into town and backyard barbecues and things like that. That in itself is a big hit for the city.
That's a huge hit, and they did absolutely the right thing at this time. But the Boilermaker was one of those events that when the city was not where we are at this time, not as vibrant as the city is and all the regrowth we're having in our downtown throughout. The Boilermaker is one of those areas that the people were proud of and talked about, and that was our building block as we looked for the restructuring of our city and rebuilding it. Between that and the Utica Zoo, those two areas that people know and they come from all over to be able to enjoy the zoo, but also enjoy the Boilermaker. And the Boilermaker, where it was a one-day event where they would come in maybe on a Saturday and then run it and go, that was about a week. People would come in. It would be the family reunions, and as you were indicating, Joe, that your food markets were busy because they were the cookouts after that. The people were going and staying for weeks. The restaurants, the bars, the venues that are throughout, the gas, your bakeries, all the great things that we're noted for, was a whole week because people were reuniting with their families and coming in and enjoying a week long of entertainment in our great city and in the warmth that our city has. So what was a 2-day event is now a week event, and that's a major loss for us. It really is.
Another loss, not as big as the Boilermaker, but a loss nonetheless, is Summerfest.
And again, Gina, again, was doing a marvelous job. That was something, you know, people remembered the past of the good old summer days, and Gina saw that and captured the electricity, the bolt in the bottle, and we were having that. And again, as we had New Year's Eve, which was a great event, you know, this is the new normal we're into at this time. So, you know, your 4th of July, your St. Patrick's Day parade, all these things that we kind of are showcasing our great city and bringing people together, we have not been able to do that. And still, we're fighting back. You knock the city down, and we'll get right back up. And, you know, the good thing is our economic development, it took a little bit of a pause, but you see the cranes in the sky, all the great things that are happening. At home, too, we're talking about the harbor. We got some exciting news that'll be coming up within the next 2 months of new development within our city. So we had a pause. It really affected everyone, but we're back on the growth pattern, and I'm looking for the continuation that people have seen for the last 8 years, my last 4 years. The city will be seen as a city that, which we remember 50, 60, 70 years ago. We'll be back right there and enjoying the great camaraderie of our great city.
You mentioned Harbour Point, Utica Harbour Point, North Utica, a lot of development down there in recent years. What's the status of the harbor itself?
So if you look at the bulkheads, and for the, you know, your viewers at this point, they may not know, but that's the walls that encapsulates the harbor. They were at the point where very dangerous, working with the state and Canal Corp and New York Power Authority. We were seeking a grant. We got the grant. People go down there now, they can see all the walls have been reformed. They're secure. Now developers, when they look at that, it makes it much more easy, more palatable for investors, making sure that the city and the state have put the money in to make sure it's safe and it's going to be efficient. So we do have some developers that are excited about that area. You've seen what happened with Nicky Doodles. Rob Esch has been in there, and thank God for Rob and all the great things that he does in all his great initiatives. You'll see within the next 2 years, I like to say a water park, indoor water park. You'll see the venues of a restaurant. You'll see the outside venue of the sports facilities of a soccer fields, baseball fields. The fact that we will look for a bridge connecting the Nexus Center with the city of Utica and the harbor area, so that area will be a tourist attraction, getting people off the thruway, and the people go up to the Adirondacks, a reason to come into the city and spend more than one day here, spend a week here, and enjoy all the great venues that we'll have in our city.
Utica Mayor Rob Palmieri is our guest. We'll be right back.